The galaxy was vast, and the Galactic Empire ruled over most of it. Its fleets of warships dominated the stars, crushing any resistance that dared to rise up. No one could challenge the might of the Empire. At least, that's what everyone believed. The humans of Earth were nothing more than a footnote, a forgotten species in the farthest reaches of space. But then something unexpected happened. On the far edge of the galaxy, the Galactic Empire's fleet of warships patrolling the border picked up something strange on their radar. A small, unremarkable planet, Earth, was sending out a signal. It wasn't much, just a faint transmission, but it was directed straight at the Empire. At first, no one paid it any mind. The Empire had intercepted thousands of signals, most of them nonsense or outdated communications from long-lost civilizations. Earth was just another blip on the radar. Yet this message, this one was different. A high-ranking officer in the Empire's communication division looked up from his console, his face growing serious. The signal wasn't random. It was clear. It was deliberate. With a cold glance, he ordered his team to decode the message. They worked quickly, and soon, the words were clear. "This is Earth. We give you one warning. Do not approach our planet. Do not attempt to enter our space. Leave immediately." The officer frowned. "What is this?" he muttered under his breath. His subordinates exchanged confused looks, unsure whether it was some kind of joke or a real threat. "We are serious. If you ignore this warning, we will respond." The officer's fingers froze on the control panel. Who were these people? The Earthlings had never shown any signs of being a threat. They were primitive, isolated, and had never made contact with the rest of the galaxy. Why were they sending such a strong message now? He called for a senior officer to inspect the transmission, hoping there was some mistake. But when the senior officer arrived and saw the message, his face went pale. "You're telling me that Earth just sent us a warning?" he asked in disbelief. The officer nodded grimly. "Yes, sir. That's what it says." The senior officer looked out into the stars, his mind racing. He had heard rumors, stories of humans rising up in desperate battles. But never before had anyone thought them capable of sending such a direct, bold message to the Empire. The message ended with a chilling note. "You are not welcome here. Leave our space at once. If you don't, you will regret it." The senior officer had heard many things in his long career, but never had he heard a warning so threatening from a species so insignificant. He couldn't help but laugh. He turned to the officer who had decoded the message and said, "Is this some kind of prank? Tell me we aren't seriously considering this." The officer looked back at him, eyes wide. "Sir, I think they mean it." The senior officer sighed, walking back toward the communication console. He knew this was nothing more than an empty threat, but the tone of the message still unnerved him. Humans had no power. They had no fleets to challenge the might of the Empire. What could they possibly do? He brushed the thought aside, confident that the Empire's forces would wipe them out if they tried anything foolish. Without much thought, he ordered his fleet to continue their patrol, ignoring the warning. They had dealt with countless civilizations in the past. The humans would be no different. They were too weak to do anything significant. Meanwhile, on Earth, the leaders of the human race were preparing for something far different. Earth had been hiding something the Empire didn't know about. For years, they had been watching the stars. For years, they had been preparing, building something hidden from the eyes of the galaxy. And now, with their warning sent, they were ready to reveal the truth. The Galactic Empire had no idea what they had just triggered, but they would soon find out. The warning from Earth had been dismissed with a wave of the hand, a petty threat from a species far beneath the Empire's notice. The Galactic Empire had no reason to worry. They had conquered thousands of systems, defeated countless alien species, and controlled the galaxy with an iron grip. One small, insignificant planet like Earth was no match for their might. They had the fleets, the technology, and the power to crush anything in their path. But what the Empire didn't know was that Earth had a secret that had been kept hidden for centuries. On Earth, a group of high-ranking leaders in the human government watched the Empire's fleet from a distance, knowing full well that the Empire would ignore their warning. They had expected that. What they didn't expect was the level of arrogance that the Empire displayed. They hadn't just ignored the warning. They had laughed it off. They had underestimated humanity, and in doing so, they had made a grave mistake. In a command room deep within Earth's most secure underground facility, a team of human engineers and strategists huddled over holographic displays. For years, they had been secretly preparing, building the ultimate weapon. They had worked in the shadows, using their knowledge to develop technology that could rival the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. But it wasn't just the technology that made Earth's fleet so dangerous. It was the humans themselves. Earth's people had something that no other species had, an unbreakable will to fight for survival. And when pushed to the edge, they were capable of unimaginable things. "Prepare the fleet," General Everett commanded, his voice low but filled with authority. "It's time to show the Empire what humans are capable of." In a distant part of the galaxy, the Empire's fleet continued its patrol, unaware of the impending threat. The flagship, the Imperium, a massive ship that was the pride of the Empire, cruised through the void, its sleek, dark hull cutting through the stars. On board, its crew was relaxed, their minds focused on routine tasks. They believed they had no reason to fear a small backwater planet like Earth. But then something happened. Suddenly, the calm was shattered by a loud alert, followed by flashing red lights and the shrill sound of alarms. A low rumble echoed throughout the ship as it shook violently. Officers rushed to their stations, trying to make sense of the situation. "Report. What's happening?" The captain of the Imperium barked. One of the technicians looked up in horror. "Sir, we're under attack. A fleet of unidentified ships has just dropped out of hyperspace right in front of us." The captain's heart skipped a beat. "What? How is that possible? We've had no reports of any fleet movements in this sector. No one could have gotten past our sensors unnoticed." "Sir, they're human ships. They're Earth ships," the technician stammered. The captain froze, his mind racing. Earth ships? Impossible. How could Earth, a species that had barely left its own solar system, suddenly possess such advanced warships? He ordered a full scan of the approaching fleet. What he saw nearly took his breath away. The human fleet was not only enormous, but its ships were unlike anything the Empire had ever encountered. Their sleek, angular designs looked like something born out of a dream, a perfect blend of speed, firepower, and advanced technology. The ships were surrounded by a strange, shimmering energy field that distorted the space around them, making them nearly invisible to the Empire's sensors until the last possible moment. "Captain, they're powering up their weapons." An officer yelled. "We're going to be hit." The Empire's fleet scrambled to respond, but it was too late. The first volley of human firepower struck with devastating precision. A wave of energy blasts erupted from the human ships, tearing through the Empire's defenses like paper. The Imperium shook as its shields flared, struggling to absorb the impact. "Return fire. Now," the captain shouted, but his voice was lost in the chaos. The humans were too fast, too coordinated. The Empire's ships fired back, but their weapons were no match for the humans' advanced technology. The first volley from the humans had already crippled several of the Empire's warships. The humans had been waiting for this moment for years, and now, with their fleet unleashed, they were showing the Empire exactly why they should have listened to their warning. "Earth's fleet is overwhelming us, Captain," an officer cried, his voice filled with panic. "We can't hold them off. They're too strong." "Impossible," the captain snapped. How could they have? But there was no time for answers. The battle had already begun, and the Imperium was at the heart of it. The once mighty Empire, so confident in its dominance over the galaxy, was now facing the unimaginable. A human fleet capable of taking down their best warships. The Empire's arrogance had led them to underestimate their adversaries, and now they were paying the price. The battle between the Galactic Empire and Earth's fleet escalated at a staggering rate. As Earth's warships moved in with lightning speed, the Empire's ships scrambled to form defensive formations. But it was clear that the Empire, for all its might, was outclassed. On board the Imperium, the flagship of the Galactic Empire, chaos reigned. The once confident officers now found themselves desperately trying to defend against the ferocity of the human counterattack. Shields down to 40%. We can't keep up with their speed, Captain. One of the officers shouted over the din of alarms. The Imperium had once been considered invincible, the pride of the Empire, and a symbol of their dominance across the galaxy. Now it was shaking under the force of every blast fired by the Earth ships, and the crew had never seen their situation so dire. Captain Alaric stared at the screen, watching the human ships swarm around them with terrifying precision. Their advanced energy shields absorbed the Empire's laser fire with ease, rendering it nearly useless. Every shot they took seemed to hit with perfect accuracy, like they knew exactly where to strike. "We need reinforcements," Captain Alaric barked, but his command was met with silence. The Empire had not prepared for this. No one had expected Earth to be capable of such destruction. As Earth's fleet poured fire onto the Empire's ships, one of the human vessels, a massive warship that stood out among the others, launched a devastating strike. A brilliant beam of energy erupted from its core, striking directly at the heart of the Imperium. The impact sent shockwaves through the entire flagship, and the Imperium lurched violently, its systems flickering. Direct hit to the central core. Shields collapsing. A technician screamed. The Imperium was in trouble. While the Imperium fought for survival, another Earth ship, smaller but equally deadly, darted through the battlefield like a predator stalking its prey. The humans were relentless. Their ships moved with a fluid grace, evading Empire fire as if they were an unstoppable force of nature. General Carter, aboard Earth's flagship, watched as the battle unfolded from his command center. His face was calm, focused, but beneath it, a quiet fury burned. The humans were not just fighting for victory, they were fighting for their survival. This was more than a battle, it was a message. "We've been waiting for this moment," he muttered to himself. "The galaxy will know the truth." Earth's forces had a simple but deadly strategy. They knew their enemies, how the Empire fought, how their ships operated. They had studied every movement the Empire made over the years, learning from every mistake and every victory. When the time came, they were ready. Every ship, every weapon, every tactic had been fine-tuned to perfection. It was the culmination of years of preparation, and now it was paying off. The Empire, caught off guard by the sheer tenacity and strength of the humans, was being forced into retreat. Their ships were falling one by one, unable to withstand the brutal onslaught of Earth's fleet. "Prepare to jump to hyperspace," Captain Alaric ordered. "We have to get out of here before we lose everything." But before the order could be fully carried out, another blast from the human fleet hit the Imperium, disabling its engines. The massive warship lurched, and the stars outside the viewports blurred as the Imperium drifted aimlessly in space. In the midst of the chaos, a message was transmitted across the galaxy, broadcasting to every ship, every soldier, and every planet within the Empire's reach. The message was simple: "We gave you a warning." It was Earth's declaration, a statement to the galaxy that humans would no longer remain hidden in the shadows. The Imperium was a symbol of everything the Empire had built, but now it was falling, not by the hand of a superior fleet, but by the hand of a species that had long been underestimated. The Galactic Empire's might had crumbled before them, and the humans were not done yet. The war had just begun. The news of Earth's victory reverberated across the galaxy like a storm that could not be ignored. The Empire, long known for its might and invincibility, was suddenly in disarray. Its once proud fleet was scattered, many of its strongest ships destroyed, and the remainder on the brink of collapse. Yet, in the heart of the Empire, the Emperor's Council convened in secrecy. The Imperium had been the pride of the Empire, the symbol of its power, but now it was crippled. The Emperor, an ancient figure known for his ruthless decisions, stood before his advisors, his face a mask of fury. "They'd broken our lines, Emperor," an advisor said, his voice trembling. "This is not just a defeat, it's a humiliation. Our fleet has been shattered." The Emperor's eyes narrowed as he studied the holographic map before him, showing the scattered remnants of the Empire's forces. He could feel the weight of the situation, an unprecedented challenge from a race they had always deemed beneath them. "We underestimated them," the Emperor finally muttered. "But we will not let this stand." The Emperor's Council debated fiercely, weighing their options. The humans were not just another enemy to conquer. They had proven to be far more dangerous than any species the Empire had encountered. In their arrogance, the Empire had assumed the humans were weak. Now, they realized how wrong they had been. A general in the Empire's military stepped forward. His reputation was known throughout the galaxy for his strategic brilliance. "We need to hit them where it hurts," he said, his voice cold. "We will regroup and bring in our secret weapon. A fleet hidden in the outer reaches. It is time for them to feel the full wrath of the Empire." The Emperor looked at the general with interest. "And this secret weapon of yours, how long will it take?" "Not long," the general replied, "but we must act quickly before they strike again." The decision was made. The Empire would gather its remaining forces, regroup, and unleash a final, overwhelming counterattack. They would use everything they had, even their most deadly ships hidden in the far corners of the galaxy. Meanwhile, back on Earth, General Carter sat in the command center, watching the latest reports. The humans had achieved an unexpected victory, but it was only the beginning. The Empire would surely retaliate, and Earth's forces needed to prepare for what was coming next. "They'll come at us with everything they have," Carter said to his team, his voice steady but filled with resolve. "We can't let our guard down now. This fight is far from over." Earth's fleet had suffered losses as well, though not as severe as the Empire's. The humans had proven their strength, but Carter knew that they had only just scratched the surface of what the Empire was capable of. The next battle would be bigger, bloodier, and the stakes would be higher than ever before. The tension was palpable across the fleet. Crew members prepared for what would be the next stage in the war, their minds set on one goal: survival. They had given the Empire a warning, but now, Earth's forces would have to brace for the consequences. Back on the Empire's side, preparations for the counterattack were underway. Deep in the Empire's command center, fleets of ships, equipped with state-of-the-art weaponry, readied themselves for launch. The general, whose plan had been accepted, oversaw the final stages of preparation. "We're about to show the humans that no one dares challenge the Empire," the general said, his voice brimming with confidence. Outside, the stars seemed to stand still as the massive warships emerged from their hidden bases. The ships were massive, designed for one purpose only: annihilation. These were the Empire's hidden weapons, their ultimate response to the humiliating defeat they had just suffered. "We'll send them a message they will never forget," the general added as the fleet powered up, ready for the most devastating strike Earth had ever faced. The humans, on the other hand, were unaware of the full extent of the Empire's new counterattack. General Carter looked out the viewport of his flagship, feeling a strange mix of determination and foreboding. Earth had already sent a message to the Empire, one that was loud and clear. But now, the humans would have to prove that they could withstand the full might of an empire that had never been defeated before. As Earth's fleet prepared for the next battle, the audience would be left wondering, could the humans hold their ground against the Empire's final, most powerful assault? The darkened skies of space were filled with the hum of energy as the Empire's fleet assembled. It was a sight of terror for anyone who dared to gaze upon it. Ships, so large they seemed to consume the very stars, moved into position with precision. Every vessel in the fleet was a masterpiece of warfare, built for one singular purpose: to crush the humans who had dared defy them. General Carter stood in the command center aboard Earth's flagship, his eyes scanning the tactical display. His hands were steady, but inside, a storm of emotions raged. The battle they had won was just the beginning. The Empire's counterattack was imminent, and the entire fate of Earth hung in the balance. "We don't have much time," Carter muttered under his breath. "They'll be here any minute." The tension aboard the ship was palpable. Every officer and soldier was on edge, ready for the fight of their lives. Carter knew that while Earth's fleet had surprised the Empire once, the coming confrontation would be unlike any battle they had ever faced. The Empire's hidden forces were known for their sheer overwhelming power, and the humans were not prepared for what was coming. "General, we've just received a transmission from the outer edge of the galaxy," said Lieutenant Walker, his voice strained. "It's the Empire. They've launched their counterattack." The holographic display flickered as the image of the Empire's fleet appeared. The ships loomed over the display, massive and intimidating, each one a monument to the Empire's unchallenged might. The sight of so many ships, so many weapons, sent a ripple of fear through the room. Carter clenched his fists. "We can't let them break us. We've already proven that we can stand up to them." But deep inside, he knew this battle would test them in ways they couldn't even imagine. The Empire had no intention of showing mercy. Meanwhile, aboard the Empire's flagship, the Emperor surveyed the battlefield. He stood in front of a massive hologram, watching as his ships positioned themselves for the attack. The general, whose plan had been set into motion, walked up beside him, his face unreadable. "We've set everything in motion, Your Excellency," the general said. "Our forces are ready to strike. The humans won't stand a chance." The Emperor's face remained stoic, but in his eyes there was a burning desire for revenge. The defeat they had suffered at the hands of the humans had been a humiliation, one that he would not allow to stand. "They'll regret underestimating us," the Emperor muttered, his voice cold as ice. "Once we show them the true might of the Empire, they'll know their place." He motioned for the general to proceed. "Prepare to make the first strike. Show them no mercy." Back aboard Earth's flagship, General Carter was readying his forces for the fight of their lives. "Captain, get the fleet in position. We can't afford to make a single mistake," Carter ordered, his voice sharp and commanding. "Aye, General," the captain responded, quickly relaying the orders. As the battle unfolded, the humans would have to rely on their ingenuity and resourcefulness. They couldn't match the Empire's sheer firepower, but they had something that the Empire didn't: the determination to fight for their home. But the odds were not in their favor. As the first shots rang out, Carter knew that this battle would not be easy. The Empire's fleet was too powerful, its weapons too advanced. The first wave of combat began with a deafening roar. The Empire's ships unleashed their weapons in a flurry of destruction. Massive energy blasts streaked through the void, lighting up the darkness of space. The human shields flickered under the onslaught, holding for now, but Carter could see that it wouldn't last long. "Evasive maneuvers, get us out of their line of fire," Carter shouted, his heart pounding in his chest. The crew scrambled to follow his orders as the ship veered sharply to the side, narrowly avoiding a direct hit. The Empire's ships were closing in fast, and Carter knew they had to act quickly if they were to survive this. "All ships, return fire," Carter ordered, his voice cutting through the chaos of the battlefield. A series of powerful beams shot from Earth's fleet, striking the Empire's ships. But even as their weapons found their marks, the Empire's ships retaliated with even greater force. The humans were fighting back, but the battle was far from over. With every passing moment, the stakes grew higher. On the Empire's side, the Emperor watched with satisfaction. His fleet was beginning to break through the human lines. The humans fought valiantly, but the Empire's power was too overwhelming. The general stood beside the Emperor, his face impassive. "We've got them on the run, Your Excellency," the general said. "Their fleet is weakening. The humans will be crushed." But the Emperor did not smile. He knew that even the smallest error could tip the balance of this war. Back on Earth's flagship, General Carter watched the battle unfold. He had one chance to turn the tide. He knew that the human fleet couldn't withstand much more, but there was one thing the Empire hadn't counted on: human resilience. "We won't go down without a fight," Carter said, his voice low but filled with determination. "This isn't over." The war had intensified, and the space surrounding Earth's fleet had become a chaotic battleground. Starships from both sides collided in the black void of space, their weapons exchanging deadly fire. Each explosion reverberated through the silence of the cosmos, each impact leaving behind debris from shattered ships. General Carter stood at the command center of Earth's flagship, his eyes fixed on the holographic display. The battle was slipping through their fingers. The Empire's superior firepower was proving devastating, and Earth's fleet was losing ships by the minute. There was no denying the Empire's overwhelming advantage. "We're being pushed back, General," Lieutenant Walker said, his voice tense as he surveyed the damage reports. "Our shields are failing, and our weapons are running low on energy. We won't last much longer if we don't do something drastic." Carter's fists clenched at his sides. He had known this fight wouldn't be easy, but he hadn't anticipated just how brutal the Empire's counterattack would be. The Empire was ruthless, using its vast fleet to hammer Earth's ships from all sides. "We need to buy ourselves more time," Carter replied, his mind racing. "If we can just hold them off for a little longer, we can send out reinforcements. We can't let them win." As the Empire's ships drew closer, firing relentlessly at Earth's fleet, Carter made a bold decision. "Prepare the fleet for evasive maneuvers. We'll break through their lines and make our way to the Empire's flagship. That's where we need to strike." Meanwhile, aboard the Empire's flagship, the Emperor observed the battle. He stood on the observation deck, watching as his fleet tore through Earth's defenses. His eyes glowed with cold satisfaction. The humans were no match for the Empire's might. Their arrogance in challenging his rule would be their undoing. "They continue to resist," the Emperor said, his voice filled with disdain. "Impressive, but futile. Their defiance will only make their destruction sweeter." His general stood beside him, awaiting orders. "Your Excellency, we can end this at once. We have the power to obliterate their fleet in one final strike." The Emperor's expression darkened. "Not yet. Let them think they have a chance. It will make their defeat all the more crushing." But even as he spoke, the Emperor felt a sense of unease. He knew how dangerous the humans could be. If they managed to land a blow on his flagship, everything could fall apart. Earth's defiance had already cost the Empire more than they expected. It was time to finish it. Back on Earth's flagship, General Carter prepared for the final push. "We're going in," he said, voice steady but filled with a sense of purpose. "All ships, follow my lead." With a sharp turn, Earth's fleet began its aggressive maneuvers, breaking free from the Empire's encirclement. The Empire's fleet was large, but they hadn't accounted for the humans' audacity and skill in battle. Carter knew this was their one chance to strike at the heart of the Empire. The fleet weaved through the ongoing barrage of fire, dodging laser blasts and missiles with precise moves. The Empire's ships had the firepower, but they lacked the humans' agility and determination. "Prepare to target their flagship," Carter ordered. As the fleet sped toward the Empire's main ship, the tension on Earth's flagship was palpable. This was it, the final push, the last hope. The Empire's flagship loomed larger and larger on the tactical display. The Emperor watched as the humans' fleet closed in, realizing too late that they had underestimated their opponent. His ships had been good at tearing apart Earth's defenses, but now, as they entered the final phase of the battle, he could sense something shifting in the air. "General, what is the status of their approach?" the Emperor asked, his voice tense. "Too many ships are breaking through, Your Excellency," the general said. "We'll need to adjust our defenses. They're targeting our command center." The Emperor's face tightened. "Then we will stop them before they can get any closer." Back on Earth's flagship, General Carter could see the Empire's flagship in the distance, but he knew the fight wasn't over. "We're almost there," Carter said, gripping the edge of his seat. "This is it. We're going to make history." The Empire's fleet began to launch waves of attacks, but Earth's fleet was undeterred. Every ship fought tooth and nail, throwing everything they had at the Empire. The odds were still stacked against them, but the humans had one thing the Empire lacked: the will to never back down. "We can do this," Carter whispered to himself. "We're not giving up." The final clash. As Earth's fleet engaged the Empire's flagship in a fierce battle, the space around them lit up with bright, explosive flashes. Laser blasts collided, shields flared and collapsed, and the hum of engines grew louder in the chaos. It felt like the entire galaxy was on fire. Earth's flagship, battered but still holding strong, pushed forward. They were close now. The Empire's ships were in disarray as the humans made their final charge. The final moments of the battle had arrived, and everything was on the line. The once overwhelming might of the Galactic Empire was now facing the relentless spirit of humanity. Earth's fleet had been battered, its ships almost unrecognizable, but they had endured. The Empire, despite its advanced technology and countless numbers, had underestimated the one thing that could not be calculated: the resilience of humans when they had nothing left to lose. General Carter stood at the command center, sweat trickling down his brow, his eyes fixed on a large holographic display. The Empire's flagship was now directly ahead, its shields flickering under the strain of constant attacks. The humans had done it. They had broken through the Empire's defense lines. "All ships, target the core of their flagship." "This ends now," Carter barked, his voice resolute. The battle was far from over, but Earth's forces had made it to the heart of the Empire's power. With every passing second, the Empire's flagship grew closer, and the tension on Earth's flagship was unbearable. The countdown to victory or defeat was now in full motion. Aboard the Empire's flagship, the Emperor's confidence began to waver. He paced the war room, his sharp, calculating mind racing. The humans had fought fiercely, and for the first time, he saw a genuine threat in their eyes. He had underestimated them, thought them weak, but now that mistake was clear. His fleet was crumbling, his ships falling one by one. "General, where are our reinforcements?" the Emperor demanded, his voice cold but laced with growing fear. "There are no reinforcements coming, Your Excellency. We've lost contact with our fleet in the outer sectors. Earth's forces. They've overrun us. We're out of time," the general responded, his voice strained. The Emperor clenched his fists, the weight of his arrogance bearing down on him. He had thought that the Empire's reach was infinite, that no one could challenge its supremacy, but the humans had proven him wrong. Back on Earth's flagship, General Carter gave the final order. "Now, fire everything we've got." Every remaining ship in Earth's fleet unleashed their most powerful weapons at the heart of the Empire's flagship. Missiles, lasers, and explosive charges surged toward the enemy's command center. The strike was overwhelming. The magnitude of the attack felt across the battlefield. The Empire's flagship shook violently, its shields collapsing under the onslaught. The hum of the engines faltered, and alarms blared across the massive warship as it listed to one side. Sparks flew from the damaged control panels, and crew members scrambled in a futile attempt to regain control. On the observation deck of the Empire's flagship, the Emperor stared in disbelief. His eyes widened as the flagship's systems failed one by one. The humans had done it. They had struck at the heart of his empire, and now the very vessel that symbolized his power was dying. "No, this can't be happening," he shouted, his voice cracking with desperation. The general turned to him, his face pale. "It's over, Your Excellency. We've lost." The Emperor's eyes hardened with fury. I will not go down like this. He turned sharply toward the escape pods. Prepare my ship for departure. I will escape, and I will rebuild the Empire. But even as he ordered his escape, the reality was clear. The Empire's command center had been destroyed. The fleet was scattered, disoriented, and defeated. There would be no rebuilding from this. On Earth's flagship, the crew erupted in cheers as the Empire's flagship began to break apart. General Carter's face softened for a moment. The battle was over. The Galactic Empire had been defeated. The humans had done what no one believed possible. We did it, Carter whispered, as the weight of victory settled in. We really did it. But even in the face of victory, he knew this was only the beginning. The Empire had been shattered, but the galaxy was a vast place. There would be more threats, more challenges. But for now, Earth had proven its place in the galaxy. The aftermath. As Earth's fleet drifted in the aftermath of the battle, the galactic skies were eerily silent. The once terrifying forces of the Empire were in ruins, and the ships of the enemy were scattered like debris in space. The humans had proven themselves to be the ultimate force to be reckoned with. The galaxy would never be the same again. News of Earth's victory spread like wildfire across the stars, and the message was clear. Humans were no longer the weak, insignificant species they had once been considered. They had delivered the final warning to the galaxy. Do not underestimate them. General Carter stood before his fleet, proud but cautious. The war with the Empire had been won, but other challenges lay ahead. He knew that the humans' true strength wasn't just in their military might, but in their unwavering will to protect their home and their allies. Let this be a reminder, Carter said to his crew, his voice steady. We don't back down. We never will. And with that, Earth's fleet, though battered, set its course toward the future, one where humanity would not just survive, but thrive. And the galaxy would learn to respect them.